Hey, how's it going, guys? DemonDriver here, and I have right here a fully laminated Emirates 777-9X wing, fully laminated with 1/32 balsa sheet. This is the biggest wing I've ever laminated by far. This thing is massive. And in this video, we are going to laminate the left wing. This is the right wing, and we have the left wing on this table, and we're going to laminate it in this video. That's what we're going to do. Okay, I got more light, so we've got a lit up situation, and then that way you can see, you know, what's going on a little bit easier than the last video where I had the headlamp on and that was kind of irritating. So let's do the left wing, and that's what we're going to do in this video. Okay, what are we going to need when we are laminating this styrofoam, giant styrofoam 777 wing with this 1/32 balsa sheet? Well, obviously the first thing we need is 1/32 balsa sheet. Sheet right here, we have actually a lot of it. We have 30-minute slow cure epoxy, perfect. Don't go under 30 minutes. If you're doing a large surface like this wing, which is giant, you need time to spread the epoxy over the surface, and you don't want the epoxy to set before you have it all added to the wing and you start adding in the balsa. And then we need brushes. Another thing we need, and I'm going to explain to you why we need it, is a few bags of like topsoil earth, and I'm going to show you why as we go through the video, and you should, you know, you'll understand exactly why it's happening, and hopefully you'll understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. All right, let's get started. Okay, the first thing we start to do is we start to lay out our balsa sheets, 1/32 balsa sheet, down onto the surface of our 777 wing, 777-9X wing. And sometimes these Midwest balsa, you know, these companies put their stickers on each sheet of balsa, and it's just a pain in the ass. You have to get rid of it. You can't have it on there, so you gotta pick them off. So what you do is you lay the balsa down over the intended area you want to place it. And what you do is you take a little pen and you make a little mark where the two pieces join up. Let me show you what I'm saying. I take a little pen and I make a mark between the two pieces so that I know these two pieces meet right at that point. And once I have the whole wing epoxied, I just meet these two pieces together, and I know that's where they're supposed to be. And then I can keep joining pieces onto the wing. And as I do that, it's kind of like laying tile on a floor in a way, if you've ever laid a laminate tile or a laminate floor. So what I keep doing is I keep placing these pieces of balsa down very gently onto the surface of the 777-9X wing, and I kind of meet them together like so, and I place them where I want them to go on the wing, and I just gently place them. And once I have them kind of where I want them, I'll then go ahead and take the pen and make that mark. Make a little mark between the pieces, so that way I know how the pieces all fit together again, and that makes life a lot easier. And then I know that this piece is going to be too long. It's going to overrun the wing, so I'll know to trim this piece right there. This outer portion back over here is going to run, as you can see, it's a bit large for the wing. It overruns the wing. There's excess, basically, is what I'm trying to say. There's excess balsa. So what I need to do is I need to cut at a certain point and I need to cut off the excess. And that's where these metal rulers come into place, because what I do is I go ahead and I make a line. See, you do all this now, so that way, you know, once the actual pieces are all being, you know, added and epoxied into place, you don't have to do it then. So I just take a sharp X-Acto and I just gently cut away the excess, like that. There we are. And I can use this piece again. That's the great part of this. See, I can use this piece that I just cut away right there, or I can use it in another place. So you want to keep your excess. So I just keep doing this, and I keep adding in these pieces. And once you've done it, you know, a whole bunch of times, it gets a lot easier the more you do it, like anything in life. And then you put another piece here. You know, when we cut away the excess. And we just keep doing that throughout the whole wing. And we just keep adding these pieces in until the whole wing is covered. Okay, well, now that we have our balsa sheet, 1/32 balsa sheet mapped out where it's supposed to go on the wing, the next step is we start to mix up our epoxy. 30-minute epoxy, Bob Smith, 30-minute cure. See? And we just, I love to use like old discarded, you know, like, these are granola bar boxes, and I just mix them up right on them because they're disposable. They're going to go in the trash anyway, so you might as well just use them for something. Any kind of old cardboard box or something is a great mixing, is a great little mixing plate for epoxy. If, you know, if it's going to go in the trash, you might as well just use it. So I try and squeeze out 2 equal parts, pretty much, and then you just mix them together. You just mix them together the best you can. Mix them up. You know, a good minute of mixing is really what is required to get this this 2-part epoxy to blend properly. If not, it won't. Its curing time will be doubled if it's not chemically blended properly. Once it is properly blended, I just make sure that the area in which I'm going to apply the epoxy is clean of debris. And I put a battery down to weigh the wing down so it doesn't move around as I apply the epoxy. And I take my brush and I just start to brush it straight onto the area to which I know I need to put it. And basically the entire surface of this wing. And if you're careful and you understand and you have a good brush, you can apply a nice smooth thin layer, and you can really you know, optimize how much you put on without putting too much on, where you know, you're adding just dead weight to the airplane. Not only are you adding the balsa, but you know, this is a super light wing because it's all white styrofoam right now, just hot wired with a balsa leading edge, so it's incredibly light. Each wing is just remarkably lightweight. So you don't want to defeat the purpose, and you don't want to defeat the fact that you're using lightweight materials by weighing them down with heavier materials. So you got to be very sparing with how much epoxy you put on the wing to help join the join the balsa to the wing. So I'm just going to keep applying this. And the good thing about the 30-minute is it gives you time to do this. If you have a 5-minute, it's impossible. If you have a 10-minute, it's not enough. 15 minutes is not enough. You need at least, you need a good 30 minutes because it's going to take you that long to get this stuff on the surface of this wing because it's just so huge. And could you imagine if I was doing an even bigger wing? It would take probably half an hour just to get the stuff onto the surface. So I'm just going to keep applying this down the entire length of this 777-9X wing. And I have to apply it to every ounce of the upper surface so that the balsa can adhere to it. If not, I'm going to have areas where the balsa is going to pop up off the surface, and that's no good. Can't have that. Yep, I'm still applying 30-minute epoxy. This takes a while. Getting a whole surface. Okay, the whole wing is laminated and covered in the 30-minute epoxy. Now I have to get moving here because I can't waste time. I gotta get this epoxy down because I don't have too much time left before this stuff starts to set. So I just gently lay the 1/32 laminate sheets by hand straight onto the styrofoam wing. And I just gently do it by hand, very gently. Place it into place by hand, like so. Very, very gently. This other piece. There we are. Another piece right there. All the while being careful and being mindful of everything I'm doing. Sometimes you gotta move some pieces around because remember we made those marks on the balsa, so we need to make sure that we line everything up with those marks. That's why you make them, so that way everything lines up properly and you don't have any you don't have any overlaps and you don't waste balsa, because balsa, is becoming, it's not an infinite material. It's not, balsa comes from trees, so sometimes the price of balsa really fluctuates. I remember when I was a kid in the 1980s how expensive balsa was relatively to inflation in the economy. There we are. Okay, we take our hands and we just gently rub across the surface, and we kind of hand press, and then we have another step I'll show you. Okay, the next step, very important, we get some Gorilla Tape. Get some thick Gorilla Tape, and I take this Gorilla Tape and I go ahead and I start to apply it to all the seams in between the different pieces of balsa. And make sure everything is fit in properly and everything is tight. And then what I start to do is I start to take the tape and apply it straight to the seams in between the balsa. And that has several reasons. One, it helps the balsa adhere to the 777-9X's wing. And there's another important reason. You're going to see that in another minute or two. So I'm just going to keep applying this to all the different seams and joints between the pieces of balsa. Okay, you wanted to know why I had those bags of earth? Well, I'm going to show you right now. Bags of topsoil. You know what I do? I gently place them straight over the actual wing. and the weight, evenly distributed, presses down and helps push the balsa down onto the surface, the styrofoam surface of the 777-9X's wing. And the little area that's left, I take a little battery weight and just pop that right on there. And there we are. These bags of soil and their weight is going to press down and press the balsa as the epoxy sets in the hour or so it's going to take to set. This weight is going to make sure that the bond is strong. Okay, well, I've got the bags on the left wing, our left 777-9X wing. I'm going to let these sit for about 1 hour. And then after a while, after about an hour, I'll know that the balsa has cured to the styrofoam wing. I'll pull these bags off, take the tape off, and I'll have a nice laminated 777-9X wing just like this one. And here is why I laminate these wings with the balsa. Here you are, my friends. Here's the Emirates 777-9X's wings. Laminated. With the balsa. 1/32 sheet, both wings right and left. That look awesome. Really came out real nice. They just look great. The balsa just adds a nice resilient, lightweight yet tough surface to your RC Airliner or any wings of an RC aircraft you're building. And the balsa just makes it look really nice. So what I will do is, the next step with these wings is to sand down the leading edge. Sand that down smooth. Add carbon fiber rods to the interior of the wings. Add them kind of an A-frame and get that done. And then eventually attach them into the wing box. Get the right and left wing attached in, tied in, and that's it. That's all there is to it. So this is the biggest RC airplane I've built yet. This thing is massive, and it's just bonkers. It's crazy. Well, that's how you laminate the wings of your RC Airliner. This is DemonDriver. Again, thank you for your company. Thank you for watching. I'm always grateful and humble. And God bless. Take care. Bye-bye.